Okay, yes, we are live. All right, let me just let everyone know inside the chat room to go and refresh the screen. We are live. Refresh your screen in the comment section below just to make sure everybody is on the same page, and then we'll get started. So just give me 1 second. Okay, we are live. Perfect. All right, well, welcome everyone. This is Lisa Torres here, the host of the Wednesday night Prosperity Team Hangout that we do every Wednesday night here for the Prosperity Team, one of the biggest teams inside of the system, the Empower Network. If you're not familiar with the Empower Network and you are here for the very first time as a guest, we welcome you. If you are on our team, we welcome you. We're so excited that you get to hang out with us and to share these webinars every single Wednesday, where we just dedicate I actually dedicate my Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock to basically share, a lot of value with you guys, to basically share with you guys, what's working, creating success stories on our team, and bringing those people out onto these webinars that are having some major breakthroughs and some major successes with their online business. So right now we actually have a guest. She's not here yet, Grandma, who earned almost $10,000 in 28 days. She will be joining us in just a second. She's having a little bit of technical issues with her internet right now, so she'll be here in about another 5 minutes. So while we wait for her, I just want to welcome everybody to our hangout tonight. We have a lot of great things to share with you tonight. If you're familiar with our hangouts, you know that every week it's something different, something fun. Even sometimes, at the end of the webinars, we actually share some homework assignments with you guys for the week until we meet again the following week. And again, we're here every single Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. So while we wait, I'm just going to share with you a little bit of my story and who I am. For those of you that have been to these webinars every single week, and you're always coming to these webinars every single week, you probably heard my story tens and thousands of times, right? Hundreds of times. But I have to share it because there's always a ton of brand new people that are just coming on to these webinars, because as we grow and as we're learning and sharing different strategies, and the team is getting bigger and we're expanding more, there's always new people every single week that have never been on this webinar, on this hangout before. So they're looking at me like, who the hell is this? Who is this woman speaking? So with that being said, while we wait for our guest tonight, I'll share a little bit of who I am and where I came from and what my struggles have been and where I am today and where I'm headed, okay? So hopefully I can squeeze that into a really short piece of content for the next 5 minutes while we wait for our guest to arrive, so she can share with you exactly how she was able to make almost $10,000 in just 28 days in her business. So first of all, again, my name is Lisa Torres. I'm the host of the Prosperity Team Hangouts that we do every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I have been an internet marketer for the past 6 years. In 2008, I was actually working for corporate America. I was working in the compliance department at a bank in Manhattan, and I got my freedom papers, meaning that I got laid off. And that was actually the happiest day of my life when I got called into the HR office, when they told me that they didn't need me anymore. I was there for almost 3 years, and they finally figured out that, or they made a decision that they didn't need me anymore, so they laid me off. But the good thing, there's always a good thing that happens when you get laid off, and that is that an opportunity is right there on the table for you to take advantage of. And at that time, my opportunity was the fact that the internet was just starting out, at least for me. It was just starting to get hot. It was just starting to get popular in terms of people transitioning from coming from an offline business in the network marketing, whatever world, to transitioning their business to the online world. And I had already been in this industry since I was 19, so we're looking at maybe 20-something years. I'm not going to share with you my age, but I've been in this industry for a very, very long time doing offline stuff. And when I got laid off, before that, I've done several different companies, failed in pretty much all of them. Never really made a dime. I think the most I made in 20-something years was about $20. Because I really just didn't have the skill sets, I didn't have the mindset, and I really just didn't know what I was doing. But I know what I did have, and that was a dream to, I always envisioned myself of being a stay-at-home mom, raising a family, being there for my daughter, to take her to school, to pick her up from school, to be there for her plays, to do this and do that with her. And that has always been my vision and my dream, even through the 20-something years failure. Okay, so what I don't understand is that when people come into the online arena or even the offline arena or any kind of business, they come in with a mindset of, I have to be successful at this within this amount of time. I have to be successful in 30 days. I have to be successful in 90 days. I have to be successful in 6 months, or I'm going to get this thing a year, and if it doesn't work out, then I'm just going to throw in the towel and give up my dreams. And if I would have done that, I would not be sitting where I am today, and I'll share that story with you in just a second. But when I got laid off, that was the biggest opportunity that ever existed in my entire life, in terms of transformation. Because the moment that I got laid off, most people are afraid. Most people are scared. Most people are like biting their fingernails, trying to figure out how are they going to pay the bills? How are they going to find another job? That they're going to go out there and have to put out their resumes and all this other stuff, and they're going to have to go to interviews and all this stuff, and they're nervous. They're petrified. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they're going to get a job. The market is bad in terms of getting a job. At that time, when I got laid off, we were going through a recession. It was 2008. Obama thankfully passed the new thing when we were going through the recession, where he took from the unemployment from 6 months to now extending it to 2 years. So I was actually blessed at that time to take advantage of collecting unemployment for 2 years. And when I got laid off, I made a decision that I was never going to work for anyone again. It's a decision. When you make that kind of decision, it's a decision that has to come from deep within. You can't just say the words and not mean it. You have to say the words and actually mean it and feel it. And so that was my decision. When I got laid off and I got those freedom papers, I made a decision, not only for me but for my family, that I was never going to work again. Because for the first 5 years of my daughter's life, when I gave birth to her, and I had a C-section, and I had to leave her. She was only 8 weeks old, and I had to leave her at home with my husband, who became the babysitter, right? Because we don't believe in leaving our kids with a stranger. We just don't do that in our family. And so we made a decision at the time that my income was more than his at the time. So I was going to be the one continuing the job because I had that income. But then that income was wiped from me, and now here we are, a family with no income except $1,200 unemployment coming in. And so, at that point, I made a decision that I will not go back to a job again, ever. No one will hire me for anything because I'm unemployable. I made that decision. And you know what happened? Within those 2 years that I was collecting unemployment, I actually went from, just a second, I don't know if you guys can still see me, but I actually went from $1,200 a month to making $800 a month because I made that decision. And at that point, I said, well, if I can replace my income, you know, with the unemployment and not have to go back to work, then obviously this works. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And as the few years went on, it was up to almost 2 years ago, actually, since I've been using the system that we're going to share with you tonight. Before I found this system and I was in that MLM company, I was 3 months backed up in rent. I had $150 to my name and had $27 in the bank account. Okay? And, well, first of all, let me know if you guys can see me fine, because I see just a picture of me. I don't know if you guys can see me. Let me see.
I can see you, Lisa.
Just let me know in the comments if you can see me. All right, I'll keep talking in the meantime, but I'll check the comments in a minute. So anyway, getting back to the quick story, we have our guest on the line, so I just want to wrap up my story real quick before we bring her out. So basically what happened was I was 3 months backed up in rent, $150 to my name, $27 in the bank account, and we were about to get evicted. And so I made a decision again that I was going to stop doing this and focus on this, because it just made more sense to do that. It made more sense to follow a system that was going to allow me to make bigger commissions. It was going to allow me to learn the skill sets that I needed to make. And what happened within that time frame when I made the switch, I actually got involved with the system, and I'm not going to share all the details of what happened. Just know that in my first 30 days, I made over $10,000. In my first 90 days, I made over $25,000. Now, before we bring out our guests, let me put an income disclaimer out there that our results are not typical. So the results that you're going to hear on tonight's webinar is definitely not typical, because we're not typical people. We don't do things like the average people do. We actually do what we say. If we say we're going to do something, we do it. Okay? If we say we're going, if we make up a decision to actually create a certain result, we are going to make that happen. So with that being said, you can find an income disclaimer link somewhere around here if you want to read more about the income disclosure. So with that being said, we have our guest. Marion, are you there?
I am, Lisa, and hopefully we're not having any sort of audio issue we did last time. But can I just say, I'm quite happy to just sit here and let you carry on. I love what you're saying. So if you have any, Lisa, carry on if you want to. You know, because I know you loved today.
I've been talking enough. They came here to hear your story. They came here to hear how the grandma made almost $10,000 in 28 days. So I'm just going to pass the baton to you. But before I do, I want to introduce you really quickly. And I'm going to let you share your story. But we actually have Marion Herbertson. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Absolutely, yeah.
Herbertson. Okay. Marion Herbertson. And I believe you are from the UK? Is that where you're currently living?
Yep.
From the UK. Okay, perfect. And obviously, she's a grandma, right? And tonight, you know, this is actually her second time hanging out with me on this webinar that we do every Wednesday night for the Prosperity Team. So I'm excited for what she has to share, because what she shared last time on the webinar, we got so many comments and so many great reviews about the information that she was actually sharing. So I'm actually excited to have you here again with us to hear how you actually, you know, created the kind of results that you created. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and pass it over to you and keep my mouth shut and let you run with it.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Now, I don't know whether I'm being seen on the screen, am I?
Do you see yourself on the screen? Because I still see your picture.
That's all I'm seeing too. What do I need to do? Do I need to do anything?
There's like a little thing right here. It says camera. If you click that and make sure it's on.
See, you really don't have to be technical to...
You don't have to be technical to make money. There's actually a little icon. If you just hover over and put your mouse on the Hangout, you'll
Oh,
actually see a
yes.
little camera that says camera on or camera off.
Okay. So it says cameras on.
It says it's on.
Um,
Let me refresh the
yeah.
Hangout page to see if I can actually see you. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to give us a second because what I'm
All
seeing is
right.
is
No.
an
Oh,
image. And I'm actually looking at the live stream, and it's actually an image too. So I'm not really sure why we cannot see you.
okay. I mean, I'm happy to just talk.
Okay, you could just talk. We'll look at your picture. Marion, I think you lost your audio. I know she was having some techie difficulties. There you go. There you go. You're kind of in and out, so it's kind of the connection. There you go. I could see you. I could see you, but I don't know what's going on with the internet where it's like you're really in slow motion and I can't hear you anymore. You might want to check your audio. You might want to check your audio button to make sure that it's on. Because I don't hear you at all. I see
Okay.
you
Can you
fine.
hear me?
There you go. You're perfect. Uh-oh. You froze again. It's frozen. I don't hear you at all anymore. Yeah, I don't hear you at all. I think the connection is really bad where you are right now. Hmm. Hmm. Sorry, guys, we are having a little bit of technical difficulties with Marion. I'm pretty sure you guys can see and hear me, and we can see her, but I just don't believe that you guys can see or hear her like I can't see or hear her either. So Marion, if you can see me and hear me, here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to delete this Hangout, right, and go back to the link that I sent you and click it again and see if that works. So in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll keep talking. I'll just keep talking and share, whatever comes to my head. We should actually have like some kind of open forum where you guys can actually ask questions. Hey, that's what we'll do while we wait for Marion to get back on. Many of you have been following me for some time, and I'm sure, I get tons of emails. Excuse me, I get tons of emails, or actually on Facebook mainly, with people just inboxing me questions all the time and trying to get advice and things like that. So if there's anything that you can think of and you want to post it in the section below, I would be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Okay? So in the meantime, because I know that we're on a little delay, I am just going to see, let me see. Okay, I'm just reading the comments. Okay.
Okay. I'm back, Lisa.
Oh, you're
Can you hear
back.
me at all?
Yes, that's
Yes.
perfect. Perfect.
You can see me and hear. Oh, guys. Okay. Let me. All right. First of all, I just want to say I'm ever so sorry for being late and all these problems. If my hair looks like I've been tearing it out, I truly have been, because just before we were due to get started, my internet connection went down. So typical, really. But like I was saying, Lisa, I was listening to what you were saying earlier, and it was so funny because so many of our stories actually mirror each other. And when you mentioned the word unemployable, I couldn't help but get the giggles because I think that that's the true sign of an entrepreneur. you know, when every boss is terrified of us simply because we're not your normal run-of-the-mill employees. Okay, Lisa, I'm just going to come back here and make sure you can still hear me, and I'll carry on. Was that, you're okay to hear me there?
Yes, I hear you perfectly. Yep.
Perfect. Okay, I'll carry on. And please, you know, kick in and tell me if you lose me there. All right. So now, you know, I've promised you a few things today, and I want to deliver on that. You're going to see me a lot because I haven't prepared. I want to learn how to just talk on the camera without, you know, slides and all that kind of thing. Having said that, I am cheating because, of course, I've got my notes here. Okay, so because what I want to share with you today is really from the heart. And though I'm talking in the presence of people who have earned a lot more than me, I want my story to encourage somebody out there who is struggling and, you know, who thinks this is never going to happen for them, or they think, my goodness me, this is happening for everyone else. Why not me? Okay, and I just want to take you through that and explain exactly what goes on sometimes before the breakthrough comes. All right. Now, first of all, right, like I was saying earlier, I am not a technical person. Let me just give you a little outline of me. Okay, I took my first selfie a week ago down at the seaside here. I haven't been able to get it off my phone as yet, so I can't show it to you. Okay, it's as simple as that. I also, you know, I have no sense of direction. I don't drive. I can't turn my video on. I take the dogs for a walk and I get lost. And then, of course, I'm too stubborn to admit I'm lost. So it takes me 4 hours before I finally crumble, call my husband, tell him I'm lost. And then, of course, he asks that million-dollar questions that only husbands will ask, you know, where are you? And to which I'll always lose my temper and say, if I knew where I was, I wouldn't be lost, you know. So you're talking to a very normal person, right? The one thing, though, about me is determination. Okay, and you know, and that's what I want to discuss with you, really. You know, let me explain. Lisa's been doing this, but I was coming up to be about 50 years old. I'm 56 now. So I was coming up to be 50 years old. I was beginning to look at my situation, you know, in a very well-paid job, etc. Hated every minute of it. My husband had just had a massive heart attack and he nearly died. My problem was I'd been so busy at work that I hadn't even realized how ill he was. So when he had this massive heart attack, it just changed our lives altogether, you know. I went from having a good job, but having a husband who provided for me, to suddenly being in the driving seat of everything. Okay. It also made me realize, well, basically, you know, I'd leave home every morning to go to work, and I wouldn't know whether I'd come home to find him alive. You know, it seems dramatic, but it wasn't. He was really, really ill, bless him. And also, you know, I looked at everything and I realized that at 50 years old, I was very dispensable to the company. They could have, in a heartbeat, told me that that was it. You know, I had to go, kind of thing. I was also beginning to realize at that time that online was the place to be. Okay, and how that happened was, I mean, I'd only ever known how to send emails. I come from the era of typewriters and floppy disks. I don't know if you remember those, and you know, that kind of thing. And I graduated to actually sending emails and receiving emails. And one day there was this link in my email, in my inbox rather, that I clicked on, and it took me to this online business that just made so much sense. You know, I'd always kind of imagined this whole thing of working from home to be the reality that we should all be looking for, not the kind of 9-to-5 jobs, etc. Though they are a blessing when we need them, but I always knew that they actually stopped you from reaching your full potential. Okay. So I joined a business. had no support at all. My sponsor sent me an email, told me to get a landing page, a capture page, and all that kind of thing. I had no idea what they were. I bought everything he told me to buy. He disappeared and told me that's it. Well, he didn't even tell me anything, but basically he disappeared, and I had to find my own way. Funny thing was, I actually had a real affinity to this kind of thing, and I very quickly assimilated what I needed to know and progressed from there. Okay, now I started to do really, really well, but that was my biggest issue, as stupid as it sounds. I wasn't prepared for it. I had no business sense at all. I had no infrastructure to support me. So what happened was, the more successful I became, the more I was working with my team, etc. So that slowed me down overall. And it was just sort of blind leading the blind at some stages, I'm afraid to say. And there was a lot of success, but then my husband had another major heart attack, and that, together with the way everything was going in the business, etc., it just, everything just sort of crumbled around me. Okay, and any of my teammates who are on here, bless their hearts, they will know what I went through at that stage, because I've always been completely open with them. There might be one or two things they don't know, which they kind of find out today. But, from that particular business, which was an affiliate marketing business, I kind of thought, hang on, there's got to be an easier way to do this. And without anybody advising me to the contrary, I actually got involved in, a business that I could look back at now and think, oh my goodness, what was I thinking of? It was one of those matrix that you get five who get five who get five. And I now know that that doesn't really pull its weight, What happened at that time was, because of the way everything was going, we ended up being evicted from our home. Okay, now bear in mind that my husband had open heart surgery in September of the previous year. With it all going the way it was going, because we were so successful, he was so successful, I had a good job, all of that kind of thing. Prior to all of this happening, we had a beautiful house. Tennis court, swimming pool, more bedrooms than we needed, more bathrooms than we needed, and all that kind of thing. We got evicted from there, okay? It was the most heartbreaking time I've ever been through, because I felt like I'd let my husband down. And it was just dreadful to see my beautiful husband in his state of health having to pack and move. Okay, our friends rallied around us, because we have a really good bunch of friends who we have helped every step of the way. And bless them, we were spoiled for choice as to where we could go live. So over the next, I think it was 6 months or 9 months or so, we stayed with 3 different friends. Okay, what could have been an absolutely horrendous time turned out to be like a holiday. Okay, it was crazy. And sometimes we kind of fear things that don't turn out to be as bad as the fear we had about them. But I will tell you, throughout that time, I stuck by my team. They will tell you, probably they will tell you now, that they didn't even know these things were happening, because I would conduct a webinar every single time a webinar was scheduled. I think it was 2 or 3 times a week. What they didn't know was that I would have to fly across the city to another friend who had a connection that I could plug into, so I could do the webinar there. And the only way I could do it was in his spare room. This is a family friend of ours, in their spare room, where there was only a bean bag and a little kind of a table thingy. So I would sit on the beanbag with my computer on my laptop on the table, conduct this webinar, make sure the team had everything they needed to do, and then dash back home, okay, to my friend's place. All right. So this is what carried on. I found myself another job because, I had to provide for my husband. Unfortunately, the company that my team and myself were working with at the time pulled the rug from under our feet. Okay, just sort of literally overnight, they kind of blamed all sorts of things, and that was that. Okay, another project that we undertook didn't even get off the ground for various reasons. So, talk about being bruised and battered, right? But like I said before, I must be one of the world's most determined people, because the one thing that I knew, was that online was the place to be. Okay, so maybe bruised and battered, but certainly not broken. All right. Now, I told you, I found a full-time job. We found a new home. Again, it was quite an expensive home because, funnily enough, the reason we had to go for an expensive home was because, of course, all the financial turmoil that we'd been through had completely wrecked our credit. Okay, so we had to rent a house from a friend who was going away, and it was a big house, so we were paying a high rent on it, etc. But it was our home, so that was lovely. But now, what happened then was that I stumbled upon Empower Network. And actually, how that happened was I saw Dave Wood giving a little talk about, not a little talk, Dave Wood never gives little talks, does he? But he was talking about blogging. Okay, now I love writing. Okay, so that I found very, very attractive. However, I was working full-time, and because we needed the finances so desperately, and we were still trying to get that other project off the ground as well, most of my time went there. And though we joined Empower Network, I never actually did much with it. Okay. Then, I kept talking to my husband about this and said, babe, we're not doing the right thing here. I am unemployable. It just wasn't working out. I mean, I gave 100% at work. I do that everywhere I go. They would take me back in a heartbeat if, I needed to. But I knew that that was not where I was meant to be. Because when you're in a job, your income is capped. Okay, you have to meet all sorts of criteria and jump through all sorts of rings, and maybe once a year, if they're feeling in a particularly good mood, they'll give you an increase. Okay, otherwise your income cannot rise above that level. And I knew that I was called to be rich because I knew that I was called to do all sorts of things. Okay, so we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And we took the decision to downsize drastically, okay, so that we could free up the income to enable me to give up my job quicker, to enable me to focus on my online business full time again. All right. So we now live in a little tiny 2-bed house, okay. We love it. All right, it is so funny, but we absolutely love it. We know it's a transition. We're making the most of it. We're bang middle in the center of everything. I can walk to shops and walk to bus stops and do all sorts of things. I absolutely love it, right? Now, this is the thing. Sometimes we end up clinging to the wrong things rather than say, okay, this is really not necessary right now, if I want to build my business, I have got to find a way that I can actually do that, even if it means giving up on certain things that I really like. All right. So then the next important step for me was actually setting my intentions. All right. Now, this might seem kind of weird and woolly to you. You might think, oh, she's talking about mindset again. I came here for practical advice. She's busy talking about mindset. Let me tell you this, okay? From the time I started an Empower Network, I think it was October 2012, November 2012, I bought the 15K, or, we bought the 15K formula. And when the whole 15K formula was revamped. It's a product in there that teaches mindset, gives you motivation, teaches you method, etc. The very first module was David Wood talking about setting your intentions. Okay, I completely ignored it. Said, you know, I don't need to do that. That's rubbish. I've got the strongest mindset in the world. You know, he's weird. Hope he's not listening to this. He's weird. You know, yeah, he may be very successful, but I definitely don't need to do this. Okay. And, you know, I worked hard and kind of made a little bit of progress, but nothing much, right? At the end of last year, for some reason, towards the second half of last year, things started to move in my mind. And I think a lot of that was, you know, listening to the Inner Circle calls, listening to Mike Hobbs, listening to Paul Hutchings, learning, listening to Lisa, you know, investing in my own education, etc. But things started to move. Okay, and towards the end of last year, I actually said to my team, come on, we're going to set our intentions. And they all went like, yeah, whatever. You know, but I set my intentions. I listened to the 15K formula again. I felt really silly doing it the way Dave Wood said to do it. But I realized that this was working for others, right? So I decided to swallow my whatever it was that was stopping me from doing that. I listened to that module and I set my intentions exactly as he explained, visualizing the whole thing. I set myself targets that I had no idea how I was going to achieve. Absolutely no idea. Okay. But the amazing thing is that as each month is going on, I can actually tick each target off. And there's nobody more amazed at this whole thing than me. Okay, you know, it's just absolutely crazy. And if you told me at the time I set my intentions how I would achieve those targets, I would have said, you must be kidding. Okay, but during that time, I've been you know, again, I've been filling my mind with the right things. I've been, you know, reading Think and Grow Rich. I've been reading The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And basically, he says, when you set your intentions and you keep focusing on your intentions, matter starts to take that form. And people, maybe 1,000 miles away, will start doing things that will actually reflect on you and have an impact on you in a positive way to bring those intentions to fulfillment. That is exactly what started happening. And it was magical, right? To me, it was nothing short of faith, you know, calling into being what isn't as though it is. Okay. So to me, that was absolutely powerful. Okay, now I gave myself 120 days. The 120 days actually ends the end of May. Okay, and at the end of May, I said that I would be earning $30,000 a month. Okay, see, that scares me even saying it, right? But inside me, I know I'll be doing that. Now, my target for April, that's the end of April, was to have done $10,000 worth of sales. I actually did it by the end of the first week of April. Okay, and you know, I kept sort of saying to my husband, "Oh, that's another so and so in my bank account. Oh, that's another sale I've made. That's another," and he kind of be looking at me, and he's now beginning to realize that my dream, which has so far cost us in terms of our home and, you know, peace of mind, financial, our savings disappeared, all of that kind of thing. My dream that actually cost us is now beginning to repay us tenfold. Okay, so that is what my journey was. You know, my results now, as I say, you know, might be peanuts to some, and I love that. I love the fact that there are others going on ahead of me who've proved that anything can be done. Okay, it's as simple as that. You know, I have lofty goals. Okay, when I talk about my goals to some people, I can tell they look at me like I'm nuts. So now I don't. Okay, I know what my goals are, and that's that. Now, you know, here's the thing, right? For those of us who've been pioneers in this world of internet marketing, it hasn't been around for very long, has it? A lot of us have made a lot of mistakes. Overnight success is very, very rare indeed. I mean, if you listen to some of the, if you listen to many of the people that we have, that the leaders that we are surrounded with, you hear that, you know, most of them came to breaking point before they pushed through and made it. So, you know, don't be disheartened if you're struggling. However, what I will say is now, everybody who is trying to do it the right way and who is persevering is starting to arrive. Okay, for those of you who are just starting out, honestly, you're in such a good place. You'll have absolutely everything in place to help you all succeed. Now, you know, I want to share with you all the two most important factors that I consider to my success, but also what you should be doing right now in order to be successful too. But first of all, I'm going to go back and see if Lisa wants to interject. Lisa?
No, I want to finish. Everybody wants to continue hearing what you have to say. So keep going. You're doing absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I just wish that I can see you because it's back to your picture for some strange reason. Could you try to click on? Could you try to click on the video button a couple of times, maybe to see if I can see you?
Okay. Okay. So that says turn camera off. I'm turning camera on now. My camera is coming on, Lisa. So
okay. So let me see if I could. I see me now. When I click you, I see me.
Okay. Don't worry. I'm much happier they think you're me, Lisa.
Now. So okay, don't worry about it. Just continue. We'll just finish hearing your voice. But I wish we could be face to face.
Okay, I know. That's really strange, isn't it? Because here am I throwing my hands around and everything else. So, you know, you're missing all the drama, but never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So anyway, you know, let me talk about the two most important factors to my success. Okay. If I was to describe me, I would say that I have the heart and the character of a horse. Okay. Now, just in case my accent is giving anybody any sort of, you know, if anybody's wondering what I actually said, they're a horse, H-O-R-S-E, nothing else, okay? I have the heart and character of a horse. And why do I say that? You know, I've been thinking about this. Number one, I'm very, very teachable. Okay, I'm very loyal to my team, the companies I work with. I don't jump around. In fact, sometimes, if anything, I've stayed a little bit too long. You know, but I'd rather do that than drag my team through change after change after change. I'm learning now, though, and I'm surrounded by leaders that, you know, I can actually follow. So I'm getting much better at that kind of thing. But here's the main thing, okay? I think I attack every hurdle, every challenge that comes my way. I attack it head on, okay? You know, that was the one thing I never used to do. I used to be a little bit of a cowardly custard kind of thing, but now I attack every challenge head on with courage. That's not to say I'm not afraid, okay, because having courage doesn't mean you're lacking fear, okay. I think having courage is, you know, feeling the fear and doing it anyway kind of thing. So I will now attack everything. All right. So, you know, when it's come to kind of negotiating with people that we owe money to, right? Because that happens. And so often in our business life, the pressures that we feel through lack of finance or whatever's going on in our lives, so often that can then affect the choices that we make in our business, etc. But I've learned to not let that happen. So I tackled it head on. Negotiated with them, And you know what? In another about 3 months or so, I'll be completely debt free again. Okay, and savings in the account. Now, if you want to, know how to do that, read the book The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, I'll give you reading tips after this, but this is why I say I have the heart and character of a horse, right? The other thing is I will always insist on finishing. Okay. You see, the thing is here, we're not in a race, okay? Each one of us is sort of taking this journey at our own time. And therefore, when those hurdles come, etc., take them, jump them. If you fall, so what? You won't be the first person who fell at a hurdle. You're not going to be the last person who falls at a hurdle. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, take counsel with somebody that inspires you. Get back on that horse and carry on again. Okay, it's as simple as that, really. Now, the other thing about me is that I am building my business as though my life depends on it, because it does. Okay, here it is, right? I am willing to do whatever it takes. Okay, obviously with complete and utter integrity, right? I am willing to do whatever it takes to build myself up in terms of knowledge and mindset. Okay, I will buy what I have to buy. I will stay up all the crazy hours. I will do what it takes in order to gain that knowledge and gain that mindset. Okay, I want to be really, really wealthy. All right. I make no bones about that. For a long time, I was really embarrassed about that. I don't know why, but I was really embarrassed about wanting to be really wealthy. Okay, what is wealthy? And if you have any kind of mix-ups in your head about how you look at money, on the one hand, money wasn't of any great importance to me. I'd give it away as easily as I'd earn it, kind of thing. But I also want to be really wealthy, right? Because what is wealth? Well, wealth is just simply, it's just a desire to live life to the full and to enable as many others to do that too as possible. Okay, it's a desire to be able to help where people can't help themselves. It's a desire to be able to see your family comfortable, your family being able to achieve things, to see yourself comfortable, to plow into all sorts of community projects, worldwide, on your doorstep, wherever it's needed. That's what being wealthy is all about. And why be ashamed of that? Make up your mind, that's what you want to be doing. Okay. Now, I'm very far from achieving my vision. I'm just one tiny goal along the road to achieving my vision. But, I know without a shadow of a doubt that I will be very wealthy, and very soon too. Okay, and also the other thing is, I know that, the closer I get to accomplishing or realizing my goals and my vision will get larger. Okay, I have no fear of that, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, because see, here's the thing, right? This is something I realized through listening to all sorts of people, reading, and something Vic said on one of his trainings actually triggered this in my mind, and it's made me realize this about myself and people like Lisa and Mike Hobbs and Paul Hutchings and all these wonderful people, Josh Shanley and all people on my team, etc. Rich people are rich before they even get rich. Okay, it's a mindset thing. Okay, and I'm already rich, right? And I know I'm going to get richer. It's as simple as that. Okay, and you need to get your mind around these things, because that's the kind of self-value that you give yourself that will actually enable you to grow and develop in your business. Okay, now what should you be doing right now to reach your dream income too? Whatever it is, it may be, you just want to do another $500 this month. If you want to be doing $30,000, this month, you don't need to be listening to me. You already know you're already on the right track. Okay, so but I'm talking to people in particular who want to make that next leap. All right. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not going to talk to you about training today. I'm not going to talk to you about practical stuff. We have every kind of successful training available to us, both free and paid. Okay, I have never seen anywhere like the Prosperity Team back office for free training. I have never come across anybody with the passion that Mike has to teach people. Okay, just like that, you know, free, because he enjoys doing it, because he knows why he's doing it. Okay, I have never come across leaders like we have in this group who share their wisdom, their you know, their knowledge. I've never come across any group that shares as freely as this group does. Okay, so if you're still not seeing in your results in your business, in spite of all of this, it could be one of two things, right? Either it's your mindset, or it's something that you're doing or not doing in your business. Okay, and those are the things I want to tackle today. Okay, see, 90% of success is your mindset. Okay, and you know, if you don't think that's true, then you need to change your mindset. It's as simple as that, quite honestly. Now, here's the thing, right? I read this somewhere before and it made me laugh, but it also made me think, right? It says, God gave people two ends, one to think with, one to sit on. Which end are you using most? Okay, so, you know, are you thinking your way out of this problem, or are you just sitting there and letting things go on as they always have been? Okay, now, you see, what I want you to do is to still your mind and still your spirit. Okay, because so often when we are struggling, there's all this noise going on around us, isn't there? And it's just mad. You know, you're thinking, I should do this, I should do that, I must blog, I must do this, I must do that, I must do this. And, you know, that's not constructive. Okay, so still your mind, still your spirit. Okay, take a couple of days off from doing anything if you want to. Okay, go into hiding. I'll tell my team sometimes, don't look for me, I'm in hiding today. Okay? You know, it's just times when you need to do that. Okay, stop, take stock, make corrections, and then advance again. Okay, really important. Now, here's the crucial bit of this, right? Be 100% honest with yourself. Okay, so many of us are accustomed to giving an account of ourselves to our bosses, to our families, to our friends, you know, all that kind of thing, that when it comes to taking stock, we're not even honest with ourselves, because we think we have to create this kind of smoke screen, you know, so that when it's looked at through that, it's all fine. Okay, that's not true. You know, you don't owe it to anyone. Okay, your success you owe yourself, right? You know, you may think you owe it to your family, and I'll absolutely agree with you in that, but you are the CEO of your life. Okay, that's it. It's as simple as that. You decide what works, what doesn't work. And I missed the webinar or the call on Monday night, but I listened to part of that, and what I got was, if you were your own boss, right, would you keep you or would you fire you? Okay, so look at it from that aspect. Okay, it's you. It's you who are in charge, and only you can make the changes. Okay. Focus on the solution, not the problems. You know what the problems are. You need to know what the problems are in order to be able to attack them. Don't dwell on the problems, you know. They're nothing. Honestly, the problems are not even problems. They're just another challenge, another hurdle to be worked around, okay? So you either jump over it, walk around it, tunnel under it, find a way, okay? It's as simple as that. Nothing, absolutely nothing needs to stop you. Okay, so focus on the solution. Stop looking at the problem, right? Focus on how it can be solved, all right? Now, you know, one of the biggest things I hear people saying is, I don't have enough time. I'm really tired. I can understand that. You know, I work crazy long hours. And yes, I'd come home sometimes and my brain waves would be flat. You know, no constructive thinking was possible. I was so tired. That's fine. Put paid marketing into place in that case. Okay. Otherwise, think along the lines of cut out the useless stuff in your life. All right. TV, online games, honestly, what is that all about? You know, adults playing online games. Cut it all out for goodness sake if you're doing it. All right. If you're working, absolutely brilliant. You know, you then got a budget to be able to market with. Listen to uplifting audios during your lunch break. That's what I did when I was working. I didn't want to get involved in the office politics, the you know, the gossip, and none of that. I didn't want any of that. I would sit there with my earplugs in, listening to Inner Circle audios or listening to a training or whatever, right? Driving to and from work. Okay, my husband thought it was, yeah, I did tell you I didn't drive, so bless his heart, he has to drive me to and from work. And, you know, he thought it was wonderful because rather than me chattering away to him, I'd be listening to an audio then, you know, an audio back again. So it worked on many different levels, right? Set your intentions. Please don't think I'm messing around. Please don't think it's not important. It's your life. You will see it working. If you haven't got the 15K formula, my question would be to you, why? Why not? Okay, we are affiliate marketers. The only honest way to sell a product is if you actually own it. Okay, so the products are so amazing, right? They're life-changing. Why don't you invest in yourself? Buy that. The very first module is the intention setting module. Get on with that. Set your intentions. Like I said, the power of setting your intentions is absolutely incredible. I truly didn't know how I was going to attain the goals that I set out to attain. And even now that I've attained them, I kind of look at them and I think, I cannot believe this. You know, I say that in a positive way, of course, and I'm just so grateful and so chuffed that this is happening. So please do it, right? Write down your goals, and this is something I learned from Vic on one of his trainings. Write down your goals. Never change your goals. It's okay to change the dates you have set to your goals, okay, but never change your goals. Set a 90-day period of goals. Be specific, be practical, okay? It's your dream. Don't expect others to understand it. So though I shared mine with my team, you know, it was day by day kind of thing. This is what will happen by the end of this month. These are the people that I want to have paid off by this is the debt I wanted to have cleared by the end of this month. This is how much I'm going to do in marketing. This is how much tithes I want to pay this month. I shared with them that kind of detail. And you know, it's all coming to pass. Okay, it's as simple as that. But don't share it with anybody who doesn't understand you. Because Eric Waugh, and I'm never sure how to pronounce his name, but in his book, Go Pro, I saw a quote of his. I haven't read the complete book as yet. I do want to read it. But he said something, it was a quote of his that I absolutely caught my attention. And he says, the catch to network marketing, and of course ours is affiliate marketing, not network marketing so much, but the catch to network marketing is that you must accept temporary loss of social esteem from ignorant people. Okay, now I'll kind of mellow that down a bit. It's not ignorant people always. You know, in some cases, yes, you do get faced with that, but the majority of the time, it's just people who haven't seen your vision. That's all it is. You know, they don't know your dream. They don't know what God's downloaded into your heart. How can you expect them to understand it? All right. So if you've got a spouse who is unsupportive, that's fine. You know, doesn't matter, bless his heart or her heart. It's your dream. Okay. Achieve it, and then you'll see their attitude changing. Okay. Same thing with your friends. All right. you know, so many of my friends kept saying to me, Marion, why don't you get yourself a proper job? Bless them, they were so relieved when I got what they term a proper job, little knowing that, you know, I had every intention of leaving it at the very first chance I got, to be honest. So there you go, which I actually have managed to do a whole month ahead of when I planned to do it. Okay. Now, invest in yourself. If you don't have the money, create more of it. Okay, and you may think I'm talking rubbish there, but I listened to a hangout that Lisa spoke on this. Okay, and she absolutely blew my mind. And, you know, she made me feel like I was one of the laziest people in the whole world, because there was I thinking, oh, I need more money, you know, for a marketing budget. I need more money to do this. I need more money to do that. How am I going to get it, you know? And Lisa, bless her heart, had done everything from children's entertainment to, I think, dog walking, if I'm not mistaken. She done all of that in order to generate more income at a time when she needed it. Okay, so push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Do what it takes to create more money. Here's the major thing. Okay, sow what you want to reap. Okay, so if you want time, sow time. You know, put time into your education. Put time into doing the things that you want the time for, right? Sow money if you want to get more money. It's just that principle of, you know, sowing and reaping. Age-old principle of sowing and reaping. If you want both, you want the time and money, sow both, for goodness sake. It's as simple as that. All right. You know, I say it's as simple as that, but because we are created the way we are created, sometimes we take the simplest of things and overcomplicate them. All right. Now, all the trainings that we have in Empower Network and Prosperity Team, right? If you don't have those, get them, access them, go through them. Okay. If you haven't bought Internet Traffic Formula, as soon as you're able to buy it again, if you're able to buy it again, please buy it. It is worth 10 times more than we paid for it. Okay, it is just incredible. But here's something I want to tell you too. The other module that went, the other product that went with it, Your Best Month Ever, I honestly have no idea why it was sold at the price it was sold at, and why it was sold like, you know, the baby sister to the major product, because that product, if you don't have it, you're doing yourself a disservice. Now, I don't know if that can be bought at the moment, but if you can possibly buy it, please buy it. Well, no, I don't want to say please to you. If you're serious about building your business, buy the products. It's as simple as that. Okay, you know, I will tell you, hand on heart, even if there was no commission involved with any of these products, I would still buy them. Okay, it's as simple as that, because the knowledge contained in them is so massive. Okay, educate, assimilate, but here comes the kicker: implement. A lot of us stop at that assimilating stage. Right. None of, you know, very seldom do we actually carry on to implement. And here's the thing: how do you learn best? Okay, just sort of listen to yourself, you know, be aware of yourself. How do you learn best? Okay, now for me, I have to take notes. Okay, it doesn't matter what I'm learning, what I'm doing. Sort of one of Vic's, you know, 90-minute videos will take me 2 hours, 2.5 hours sometimes, because I have to stop every now and again and take notes. Okay, don't depend on your memory. You know, so often when I'm watching webinars and things, I'm watching people, or I'm being distracted by people chatting away. And I think, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Why are you chatting? How can you be listening if you're chatting? What I normally do is I make the video thingy go full screen so that I block out all the chat. Okay, so don't depend on your memory. Your memory only retains, I think, one tiny percentage of everything that goes into it, you know, and it distorts the rest anyway. So make sure you take notes, right? Take the time to convert that training into any format that you find most useful. So for me, for example, I've got a great big whiteboard up. I'm forever sketching on it and drawing things, because here's the thing: I'm slightly dyslexic. Okay, for me to follow paths kind of thing, you know, we can drive down the same road 100 times, and if we drive up that road in the other direction, I won't recognize it. Okay, that's a never-ending source of humor to my husband. Right, he's forever falling about with laughter because I'll say, "Where are we?" You know, and we're parked just outside our house. Just happens we've driven in the other way. Okay, so I've learned how to make my memory do what I want it to do, and I've learned to do the things that will actually imprint on my memory. Okay, so I will draw diagrams, you know, pencil and paper. I will draw diagrams. I will do all of that till I know exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll know the sequence to how to attach my landing page to my video, which then goes on to my offer. Okay, but you know, I have to go through. Now, Lisa's probably amazed that I have to do that, you know, because she probably just does it in her sleep, bless her heart. And but I've got to do that. Okay, but I do it, and the more I do it, the easier it becomes. Okay, but implement what you are learning before you go on to the next bit of training, because I'm a bit of a learning junkie as well. So if you give me stuff, I will quite happily sit and go through it all, not bother about implementing. And for a long while, that was my issue. Okay, so, you know, I never thought this business is not working. I never thought any of that. And even if I thought that, I'd have probably kicked myself because I could see it was succeeding for a ton of people, right? So bottom line is, if it's succeeding for them, it can succeed for you too. What I became very aware of is that I was learning so much and assimilating so much, but I was not implementing. Okay, so that was a big thing, really. All right, so that was something I needed to do. Now I won't actually go on to the next training before I've implemented that particular training, if I want to implement it. Okay. The other thing I will give you, the other little practical tip that will help you: download all the noise in your brain onto a notepad or your mobile phone, or, if you know, obviously for many of you in the States, and not the mobile phone, the cell phone. Okay, download all of that. Don't keep everything in your head. Okay, you will be amazed how, if you write it down on a piece of paper or on your notepad, or you know, on your whiteboard, whatever, it clears your mind and enables you to think logically, and in steps. Okay, organize yourself and your working environment. So important you do that. Okay, I actually, my office now, because of course we only have this tiny little house, whereas before this I had a great big sprawling office all to myself. And my office now is in the spare bedroom. Okay, but it's always tidy. It's all, you know, everything is in the place that I know where it is. Anybody touches it, pain of death, really. So it's organized. I have my working times. You know, if you're a mum or a dad, it's really, really difficult then. Work it around your kiddies, you know, when they're at school, after they're in bed, that kind of thing. All right, so organize yourself and your working environment. Preparation versus implementation. Okay, as long as you are responsible and you're not kidding yourself into thinking that you're doing. Okay, because sometimes just doing, you know, our brains are crazy sometimes. You know, if you just think of doing something, your brain actually kids you or tricks you into believing you've done it. Do you ever have those dreams where you dream you've cleaned the house top to bottom, only to wake up and find you really haven't? You know, you've got to do the whole thing again. That's pretty much what your brain will help you, will trick you into doing if you just stay in preparation mode. Okay, so be responsible to yourself, nobody else. Be responsible to yourself and implement everything. Okay, I live on the principle, if I do my best, life will do the rest. Okay, I'm a woman of faith, so to me, you know, I know where my blessings come from, and that gives me peace of mind too. Tap into that in yourself. You know, whatever your inner strength comes from, tap into that. Okay. Now, choose a marketing method which suits you. And if you're thinking, okay, I don't have a budget, etc., on Facebook, you can market for as little as $5 a day, $10 a day, and it's hugely, hugely effective. Okay, with the training, especially in ITF, Mike's done a training on that. Somebody else did a training recently. Justin Varengia is doing an amazing training on that. Lisa's forever talking about that. Facebook marketing, it can be so targeted and so profitable. Okay, do that. Start small, don't get overwhelmed. Okay, big, big, big thing there. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Okay, start small, master each step as you're going on. Here's the other thing that all of a sudden has been cropping up in conversations that I've been having, trainings that I've been doing, all that kind of thing. Let go of the outcome and you will increase your income. Okay, so many times, we do a tiny bit of marketing and then we're frantic, okay, I've got 10 leads, I haven't had one sale as yet, I spent $20 on that, start the heavy breathing and all the rest of it. But honestly, let go of the outcome. As long as you're doing things properly, you're monitoring things, you're looking at your split testing, you're doing all that good stuff. I'm even beginning to sound like Vic now because I've been listening so much to him. But providing you're doing all that good stuff, right, the income will come. It's as simple as that. Okay, you've got to build it, and then it will start to happen. Okay, now this talking about, he asks this question and that really made me sit up and take notice. And he said, some people give up on their business so easily, right? Or hop from one thing to another, and I've seen it online. I've seen people raving about one business and the next week they're promoting something else. I mean, what kind of stability does that give anybody? It's just crazy, But Vic asks, how long would you give your baby time to learn to walk? Will you say that if your baby hasn't learned to walk by the time he's 1 year old, he's a failure? Does that mean that your baby won't walk by the time he's 18 months old, maybe 2 years old? For goodness sake, think about it on those lines, failure is not an option. It's as simple as that. If it's working for some, why shouldn't it work for you, right? So make sure that it does. Make sure you put things into place that make it work for you, okay? At the end of the day, what are the alternatives? Okay, what are the alternatives? It means that you're condemning yourself to a lifetime of a job. Okay, and though I was very, very grateful for my job, and I'm very grateful for what I'm doing now, etc. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. I am now going to be one of the iPass 2 business coaches. Okay, that was something else that I kind of was part of my intention, not to be a business coach, but to be able to work from home. And when I heard that announcement, I kind of applied in the first 2 minutes, and just absolutely knew I was going to get it. So there you go. And I'm really looking forward to working on your behalves on that, because I love being able to do that kind of thing. But besides that, what are the alternatives to not doing the things that you love most? Okay, it means condemning yourself to a job that you don't really like, where you have to leave your family for most of the day, and you've got to work at that job for the rest of your working life, and then retire with, insufficient funds. It's as simple as that. Okay, so between that and knowing that what is here works for so many people, just make up your mind it's going to work for you. Do what it takes. Simple as that. Okay. I'm coming to an end, and then I'm going to hand over to Lisa. Speak life-giving words over yourself, your family, your business, your finance. Okay. Again, tap into things that don't say I'm never going to make it, this thing's not working, I'm so dumb, I'll never get this, etc. don't say those things. Never let those things cross your lips. Okay, speak words of encouragement, even to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth. You know, you're doing really well. You've done what you have to do today. You are on your way to success. Okay, don't tell yourself lies. You are a spiritual being. Your spirit just won't accept lies. Okay, so tell yourself the truth and it will happen. Okay, encourage yourself. Speak words of life over your business, your finance, your family, yourself. Okay. Now, I was going to show you all what I've been reading this week, rather last week. I was going to show you, but since the camera isn't working, I'll just tell you very quickly. I read The Science of Getting Rich the previous week. Wallace D. Wattles, absolutely amazing. The Tongue, a Creative Force. Okay, Charles Capps, a Christian author. He talks in very old English, but amazing stuff. Okay, David Wood mentioned the book Hung by the Tongue. Okay, not sure who the author is on that, but try and get that and read it if you haven't. Richest Man in Babylon. If you're an get into certain situations, is because we chose one way or the other to get in there. Okay, we made choices. In Babylon, it's amazing. Okay, simple book that completely gets it right. Okay, now this week I focused on tons of iPass 2 training and also on your best month ever, your biggest month ever. Okay, absolutely amazing on both scores. All right, this week I have ordered and they should be arriving any day now. For my reading next week is Spirit Driven Success by Danny Johnson, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, and Psychocybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Okay, read, just read. You know, it is just so much more helpful than so many other things. I mean, you know, I'm going to hand over to Lisa now because I've been going on forever, it seems. I would say, in conclusion, you know, honestly, there's never been an opportunity of this kind. We've never had the ability to be able to do what we're doing in the kind of community that we have, to generate the kind of success that we want as we can in this in this community that we're in. Okay, just get very real, very honest with yourself, and move from there. Okay, you know, it's as simple as that. Don't miss this opportunity. Capitalize on it in the most unashamed way possible. Don't, you know, get your mindset right. Okay, wanting money is absolutely fantastic. It's what you do with it after you've got it that you've got to be wise about. Okay, so ask for wisdom, you know, gain wisdom and how to do these things, and go from there. You know, it's as simple as that, really. If I was to set you an assignment, it would be determine your vision. Okay, set your 90-day goals. Give yourself a little bit longer if you want to. Refer to it every day. Get on Paul Hutchings' calls if you can. Choose a marketing method. Give yourself a week to master it, then implement it. Rinse and repeat. Okay, simple as that, really. I honestly hope if that's just helped one person out there, I'll be grateful. And with that, I'm going to hand over to our lovely.
All right, can you hear me? I don't know. Your camera came on, Marion, and now, oh, there you go. Your camera finally came on, but now you're kind of frozen, and your audio went out for a second. So, but I'm just excited to, you know, that you were actually able to share your message with us tonight. You share a lot of valuable information that I'm sure, you know, a lot of people can actually take home if they actually apply what you were sharing with them. Even though you didn't share any, you know, how to generate 50,000 leads in 5 seconds kind of thing, or showing your screens, you know, sharing some certain marketing strategy, you know, because really what Marion shared tonight, guys, is it is the foundation to your success. And what I love most, there's actually two things that I love most about what she shared. What I believe is the two most important things outside of the strategies, because the marketing strategies, of course, those are important, because if you don't implement them, you don't get results, period. But there's something that comes before that. And the two that stuck out to me the most was, number one, to let go of your outcome and you will increase your income. And the reason why I love that so much is because so many people focus on, you know, doing like a blog post or shooting a video and putting it up on YouTube, or maybe even putting the blog post and the video up on Facebook, and maybe posting an Instagram picture, or maybe posting something on their fan page wall, or the fan page wall, or their profile wall, or they're always doing something. Maybe it's you know, putting up a Facebook ad or a PPC ad, or maybe it was a solo ad, or whatever it is. Right? They're implementing the strategy, and then they're going to their emails and they're checking. Let me see. Did I get some leads? Did I get some signups? Did I make some money today? You really, that needs to stop. Because the moment that you let go of the outcome, which is basically the money and the leads and all of that coming in, the moment you start letting that go and concentrate more on you know, implementation and mindset, then that's when the money is going to start coming. Because the worst thing that you could do to yourself and to your team, if you have a team, is constantly checking the stats to see how things are. If you made money today, okay, what brought us to the level of success that we are at today is being consistent with always working on our mindset, because we have a lot of garbage in our minds. We always have these self doubts and these negative beliefs and these, you know, all these different things that really just shouldn't be there. And the reason why we work on personal development is to eliminate them. So if you can focus on that instead of checking your email every 5 minutes to see if you got a lead or a sale, and focus more on that energy into putting some good stuff, some personal development stuff, listening to great audios, watching great videos, maybe learning a new strategy, or sticking with picking a strategy, and then going out there and finding different tips and things. I mean, Google and YouTube is your best friend. Okay, I would highly suggest that you actually pick a strategy, a free and a paid, and then go master that. And then focus on that. Because when you let go of the outcome, which is the money and the leads and all that stuff, and you focus more on, let me master this, let me work on my mindset, let me figure out the skill sets that I need to be successful, then if you focus on that and put all your energy into that, right? Guess what? When you finally do go check your emails or your back office or whatever, maybe at the end of the night before you're going to bed, instead of every 5 minutes while you're at work, walking in the street, before you're getting in your car, before you're getting in the shower, and you're constantly checking the messages, then hey, you're constantly going to see zero if you're seeing zero. So change the way that change your focus is what I'm trying to say. The second thing, Marion, that what you said was to tap into your inner strengths, really. That has been one of the things that I actually did, was to know what I'm good at, because there's a lot of things that I'm good at, but there's also a lot of things that I'm not. And I don't focus on the things that I'm not good at. I focus on the things that I am good at, and I use that. And I focus on my strengths instead of my weaknesses. So I tap into my strengths, and when you start doing that, then you can actually have the kind of results like Marion had, where she earned almost $10,000 in just 28 days. So it's just little tweaks like that, getting rid of some stuff, implementing some better stuff, and then rinse, wash, and repeat, like she said. Keep keep your days very simple, right? Just keep it very simple. What I noticed that a lot of people try to do is that they're getting washed out and drained out because they're trying to do everything. They're trying to blog, they're trying to do SEO, and then they're trying to syndicate, and then they're trying to do videos, and then they're trying to SEO the videos and trying to syndicate that, and they want to be on Instagram, and they want to be on Twitter, and they want to be on Facebook, and they want to have a fan page here and a fan page there and a blog here and a blog there, and they want to do a solo ad there and a Facebook ad there, and all that stuff is great, and you should be doing that, right? But if you are new and you're not getting results, you should not be doing that. What you should be doing is picking one free thing, whether it be blogs or videos or whatever, and one paid strategy, whether it be Facebook PPC or solo ads, let's say, for example, and then mastering those and getting the results. Focusing your energy on those things and realizing what your strengths are and tapping into those strengths and then bringing those strengths out into your work. Okay, into the work, into the strategies that you're actually implementing out there. So that being said, thank you so much, Marion, for hanging out with us tonight. I know you had some internet connections, so we want to thank everybody who's watching us tonight for having the patience, while we were waiting for Marion to get her internet in order. So with that being said, Marion, do you have any last things that you want to put out there before we close this out?
No, Lisa, I am done. Thank you so much. And like I say, thank you so much to everybody for being just bearing with me, really. And I promise the next time I come on, if you invite me on, I'll have everything working, and I'll do some training on, something that's working for me on a practical level as well. But like you're saying, I really did think that mindset, we have so much practical training. I really felt my heart wanted to share the mindset side of things a lot this time.
Absolutely, because honestly, that is really the most important things, because anybody can learn the strategy. But not if you don't have that mindset, you can forget about getting results with strategy. It's just as simple as that. Because there's going to be times when you're learning the strategy and you're implementing the strategy, whatever the strategy is, and you're not getting the results, and then you throw in the towel and you quit. But if you work on your mindset, right, and you work on your personal development and you work on your strengths and knowing what those strengths are, then doing implementing the strategies, not getting the results, and then basically shifting your mindset to say, okay, well, if I tried this strategy several times but it's not working. If you had a bad mindset, you would throw in the towel. If you have a good mindset, your mindset is going to tell you, okay, this didn't work. Let me go back and tweak it. Let me find something else that's going to help me, tweak this little thing so that I can start getting better results. Because really, your breakthrough is just a tweak away.
I like that.
Your breakthrough is just a tweak away.
That's a Lisa Torres quote. You heard it here.
It's a Lisa Torres quote. Your breakthrough is a tweak away. And the reason why I say that is because, Marion, I know that you mentioned that, or actually David Wood, I believe he mentioned, and we've heard it several times before, that people are so fast to throw in the towel when they don't see the results. And really, they didn't see the results because they didn't figure out what was wrong in the first place. Because really, there's nothing wrong with the strategy. The strategy works. I mean, you and I could go out there and do the same exact strategy and get different results. right?
Exactly.
But if you got the bad results and I got the good results, if you just went and tweaked your strategy a little bit, you can possibly get the same kind of results as me. Instead of just throwing in a towel and saying, oh, this doesn't work. Well, guess what? It works for me. So obviously you're doing something wrong, right?
Exactly.
So it's just, that little one tweak could actually shift everything for you. So if you guys could just get that through your heads, then you'll be successful. So, yep. So with that being said, again, this is Lisa Torres. If you want to be a part and lock arms with us and you want to be a part of this amazing community and meet, the other people just like Marion, just like me, who are actually getting results and seeing results and are here and dedicated to your success, then what I would like for you to do is invite you to join our community. And all you have to do really is click on the link right below this video that says lock arms with us and get started with us today. And with that being said, again, we are here at the same time, same place, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We will see you next week for some more awesome training. And as I said before in the beginning of the show, every single week we have a new guest. And I'm definitely excited to have you back on in the near future, Marion. So thank you again.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. Good night. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye, Lisa.